Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and this is Navigational Astrology. We are here to talk about the first new moon of this astrological year and the last lunar cycle before we hit the first eclipse season of 2022. We're entering some wild and crazy energy, so let's talk about it. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Welcome. Big hugs to my amazing subscriber family. On this channel, we talk about astrology, mysticism, folk magic, following the natural cycles of the earth and of life, and pushing the edges of our consciousness so that we can have more fulfilling lives and more fulfilling relationships. So our Aries new moon is on April 1st, 2022. This new moon is happening at 11 degrees of Aries. It is conjunct Chiron, it is conjunct Mercury, who are both in navigational astrology the co-rulers of Virgo, which is very significant here, and we will talk about that. Another really interesting thing to sort of set the mood is that the lighthouse card of the tarot, which is an energy that beckons us forward, is justice, which is also the 11 card. So we have it at 11 degrees, the 11th major arcana card of the tarot. And this card is the card for Libra, which is, of course, on the axis of relating with Aries and Libra. This is about the self and in the self and relationships with others, other selves, right? So the Justice card causes us to look back at our actions, the cause and effect situation in our life, our inactions. And when we're able to do that, it shows that we've grown and matured enough to where we can take responsibility for ourselves. This can sometimes cause us to question our current path, to make adjustments when needed. And because this is an Aries new moon, we are looking at adjustments in the self, because the new moon is asking us to plant new seeds. The full moon in Libra on April 16th will be when big changes will be occurring from these inner changes we're making in ourselves. Gives us a new perspective, a clean slate. Or we can choose not to and to continue the same path that isn't working, right? All right. So I'm going to share the chart with you so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so here is our new moon chart, 2:25 a.m. on April 1st. So in some places, this will actually be happening on March 31st, technically. So here we have the sun and moon conjunction at 11 degrees of Aries. We have Mercury here at 9 degrees of Aries, Chiron at 12 degrees of Aries, and we actually have Pallas Athena here at 17 degrees of Aries. This is, let me tell you, this is some clean cutting truths coming for us. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. I do want to point out that we have Mars and Saturn in conjunction with each other, and they are both squaring the nodal axis. We have the south node here at 23 Scorpio and the north node here at 23 Taurus. This square Saturn has been really laying down the law for us lately, and that can often feel very uncomfortable. It can be very painful. Saturn, we have Juno here and Venus. Yeah, it's a whole situation. Relationships are really under the spotlight right now, under the microscope, but specifically where we are responsible for how our relationships are and have been in the past. This isn't about letting other people off the hook for their behavior, but it is about not letting ourselves off the hook for our behavior. We have to be honest about how we have allowed ourselves to be treated. We have to be honest about our limiting beliefs that are running our behavior, and those tapes, those unconscious tapes that we have playing that come from young wounding. And this is inner child work. It's truth telling work. And the best way that we can do this is to stop shying away from what we see in ourselves. Aries is, this is the start of the astrological new year. This is a breath of fresh air. This is the Queen of Wands, birth canal of creation. We are in a place of high potency. And all of this energy with Saturn kind of just getting up everybody's stuff, it's like we are to feel the discomfort so we can see where it's coming from. And then we can use the energy of Libra and that justice card to make new choices. But first, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to. It's not that serious. Once we become more gracious and gentle with ourselves, a lot of times we give other people more leniency and more grace than we give ourselves. It's time to change that. So Aries energy is about seeking courage, proving the self to the self, right? A lot of times we get that confused and we think that we have to prove ourselves to other people, but that's not it. We're just here to prove ourselves to ourselves. And with this new moon so tightly in conjunction with Chiron, Chiron is deeply connected to the body. And as rulers of Virgo, a lot of times we don't realize how important Virgo energy is to having proper relationships, when in fact, Virgo is literally the gateway to relating. And that's where all of that trust in the self and in others lies, beyond the mastery of Virgo. And all Virgo wants to do is to just keep getting better. It's not about perfection. It's not about picking out everything that is wrong, although that's sometimes the method, let's be honest. But picking out what is wrong, noticing what can be improved, is the method. That's the way, like the Mandalorian. This is the way. This is the way to relationship, improving the self. Because if we are not embodying the best partner for us, then we cannot be in a proper partnership. And this is not just about romantic relationships. This is all relationships, friendships, family, work, all. We don't even know who we are without the reflection of relationships coming back at us. And it's meant to be that way. We are meant to be mirrors for each other. So when we get triggered by someone else, it's really nice to be like, oh, I'm feeling really triggered by this. Thank you for bringing this unhealed wound to my attention. Now that's a higher perspective and we can't always get there right away, truth be told, but that's the Virgo way. We feel that discomfort and then we're like, okay, we're going to improve this. is about becoming the own hero of your life. Chiron and Aries wounding is about the right to exist the way that we are, the right to want what we want, and the right to go for it. It's about getting over any shyness about asking for what we want. The bravery to go against social norms, to buck the current, to not keep peace, to not make nice, not in a violent way or in an unhealthy way, but for a way that has your own back. To not overcompensate for other people's discomfort. So with Chiron conjunct both the sun and the moon, we're looking deeply within to find ourselves and our identity, to feel secure from the inside, that we're worthy of appreciation, that we're worthy of value. This can bring up young wounding from childhood. And that stuff, I mean, that can be very, very painful, but it's so important to just have the awareness about it. This isn't about perfection. Again, it's just about awareness. We can not be perfect and still understand why certain things bother us so much, or why we want something so badly. You know, if your mother denied you nurturing as a child, you are going to want a partner that nurtures you. And at the same time, you're going to reject that nurturing because you have not experienced it. And so just knowing that can like crack the door open to where you can have that healing experience. This energy can have us really feeling very sensitive and wondering, having a lot of feelings about what other people are thinking and feeling about us. And it can create a vulnerability. And vulnerability is a good thing. Vulnerability is a gift, as long as we know not to cast our pearls before swine. Not everyone is worthy of your vulnerability. There's a self-discipline that is required here. With Mercury in the mix, we're going to want to talk about it. We're going to want to write about it. We're going to be thinking about it. Other people are going to be talking about it. So there's a lot of energy here about this young wounding and about the way, that Virgo way to grow so that we can be proper partners to ourselves and to others. With Pallas Athena in the mix, I mean, she is the goddess of truth. She's here to just kind of cut through the BS, to show us what's real. Sometimes it's hard to see, but that's how she loves us. That's actually her type of love. And sometimes we need that tough love. To go back to the chart for a second, back to Saturn and Mars and Venus and Juno. This is playing in perfectly with this theme, because all of this together is bringing up all the stuff where we haven't been loved and appreciated, where we haven't been recognized as being valuable, worthy, beautiful, creative. People haven't committed to us. We haven't gotten the passion from others that we wanted. So what do we do with this energy? All of this is asking us to deal with it in a real life way. When it comes to Mars in this mix, this is about becoming that badass that we have been denying within ourselves. Not that we need to go after anybody or anything like that, but this is about, you know what, if somebody did come for me, I can handle this. I've got my own back. I'm dangerous if messed with. Saturn here is about doing the hard work so that we know we're worthy of the attention and value that other people give us. Juno here, this is about buckling down and committing to something and not running away as soon as it gets hard. In this context, it's us, it's you. It's not abandoning you, not abandoning the path of becoming how great you are. This is like Venus here. This is about making love, self-love, love for others, work in the real world, which includes, cannot exist without all of this, without the commitment, without the work, without the passion. Things are cyclical in life and in relationship. If we take off as soon as the first waves come, or the first time there's an argument, or the first time the relationship has hit that low cycle, if we are carrying around this Hollywood romance programming that everything is sunsets and the tall candles and all that, where that stuff is important, yes, and it requires effort, but you have to apply that to you. Light your own candles, take yourself out on a date, treat yourself the way you wish others would, and they will learn so fast. And if they don't, then they'll be missing out. That's what I got to say about that. So this is our task, to plant these new seeds of self-badassery love vibration. Because when this Libra full moon comes, it is squaring Pluto, and it's trining, it's trining Saturn and Mars. So this friction that we're feeling now, we're going to be making moves on. We're going to be seeing some things differently. And Neptune and Jupiter are going to be expanding our vision of what is possible. It's go time on the inside. Doesn't mean it's not go time on the outside too, but seriously, it's go time on the inside, because this eclipse season, it's going to get wild. It's going to get wild. Speaking of that, I'm really considering doing a mini course for the eclipse season, where I will teach you an astrology practice, even if you're a super beginner, that you can use to navigate every lunar cycle, and especially these eclipse portals. So if that's something you're interested in, head over to my website, make sure you are on my mailing list so that you can get updates on that. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. How's it going? What do you think about this energy? It's wild and crazy stuff. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you soon.